Indian education is hurting Indians and things need to change. So I'm creating this video with very good intentions. As an American Indian who's been to India and has seen his cousin struggle because of the school system, I feel like a video like this is very much needed. Even if you aren't a student in India and you are a student in the United States such as myself or the United Kingdom, be sure to stick to the end of this video as you will learn a lot about the faults in educational systems because almost every educational system has common faults. And if you're an Indian student, you have to stick to the end to make sure you understand this message fully. There are three main flaws in the Indian educational system that is causing problems to the common mind, in my opinion. And those are the rat race, the numbers game, and the abundance of tests. So first, let's talk about the rat race. So the rat race is the catastrophe that is currently going on in India where every student is trying to be the best student within their school or nation. The problem lies in the fact that these students care about being the best in terms of book smarts. They want to score the highest on exams among their family, their friends, their classmates, everyone they possibly know. In fact, there was a very famous Indian movie that actually did really well in America as well, and it was called Three Idiots. And the movie was basically showing the rat race that is going on in the Indian educational system. Basically, the students in the film didn't really care about learning. They cared about doing the best on exams. They would cheat. They would try to help their friends out. But at the end of the day, they just cared about getting the number on the exam that showed, hey, you are smart. But the main character was more focused on the learning. But by the end of the film, and this is kind of a spoiler, so you may want to skip like 10 seconds ahead. This main character was the one who went the furthest in life, the most renowned, the most successful, because what he cared about was the learning, not just the numbers. Now, unfortunately, there is no escape to this rat race, at least not within the current system. In fact, I remember when I went to India in 2016 and my cousin, who was only in 9th grade, was preparing for a very hard exam known as the JEE, I believe, which is basically an entrance exam to some of the hardest colleges in India. And seeing him go through that mental stress and feeling down on himself because he wasn't able to do the problems. I mean, I wasn't either. It hurt. Like, I wish I could help him and tell him, you know, it's fine, you can still become an engineer without doing well. But the answer is you almost can't. The way the educational system in India works is that a lot of things are test-based. And I'll talk about that later in the video. But this rat race that's going on where he's trying to be the top scorer when he takes a JEE and he can't let anyone else score above him because then he wouldn't seem as competitive as if he was number 1 or number 2 on the list. And this leads me to the second point, the numbers game. In India, students care about scores and numbers. And it's not their fault. In fact, in the local newspapers, you will see sections where students' faces are printed as well as their score on an exam for that local town. Like, it will say Preeti Gupta scored a 90% on the exam and she is amazing at making her family proud. Now, what about the average student who scores like an 80% on the exam and isn't featured on a newspaper? And his parents are reading about this girl who scored 98% on the same exam. Now they're looking at their son or daughter like, why can't you do that? And this right here is such a big problem because students' brains are already being programmed to care about the number. To care about, let me try to get over 90% so I can be in the newspaper, so I can make my parents proud. And this right here is what's causing a diminishing of creativity. Students are thinking, I need to get a higher percentage versus, oh, maybe I need to learn more about the topic and better my fundamentals of this concept. Now, I'm going to be honest, and I'm sure most Indians watching this video will agree that India is more focused on book smarts while America is more hands-on. Now, I'm not saying one educational system is better than the other. Actually, in fact, I believe Indians are the smartest race to exist. And I'm not saying that because I'm Indian too. I just generally believe that. Like, if you look at the engineers, doctors, lawyers in America, like, they're all Indian. But what I do think America is winning in is that it inspires creativity within its students while India's number game takes it away. And that's what brings me to my last point. The abundance of tests. Test, 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 tests. In India, there's a test for everything. You want a job, you gotta take a test. You wanna go to this college, you gotta take a test. You want to receive some extra tutoring sessions from this accomplished teacher, you gotta take a test. You wanna go to free schooling, you gotta take a test. Everything is test-based. It's almost like you wanna go to the restroom, you gotta take a test. I bet that's gonna happen one day too. The point is, there's just so many tests in India at almost every stage in someone's life. Like, they're not having a break from tests from the time they are like 4 years old to the time they get their first job at 22 or 23. Like, right now, India is going through a COVID-19 epidemic, but it's been going through a testing epidemic for as long as I've lived. It's almost like students' faces are glued into a book from the time they take their first breath to the time they take their first job. As far as I know, the entire internship idea in in India isn't really a big thing. Like in America, you usually get a job in a more holistic way where everything is looked at, while in India, your scores are favored over almost everything. And in America, you can also get jobs through like connections, like internships, where maybe you intern at Google and then you work for Google. In India's scenario, it will be you have to take this exam that's super hard for this job position, and if you do well on that exam, and maybe some other things you have to do as well, then you can come into the job. There is no exams for jobs in America. Yes, there's like a coding interview for CS majors, but that's not really an exam, right? Everything is more holistic and the entire person is taken into account. And the thing is, these exams in India are no joke. They are insanely hard. In fact, I made a video where I tried taking the JEE and I basically failed it. And it sucks because in America, so many students are, so nervous and sweating and stressed for exams like the SAT, ACT, which are nothing compared to the exams that are being administered in India. So imagine the mental stress that these students are going through to prepare for these exams. Like I've seen it firsthand, and I would never want to go through that, yet so many people are going through it on a daily basis. What really sucks is the fact that there are so many creative and talented individuals in India, but when you put a test in front of their face, and if they're a bad test taker and they do bad on the exam as a result, then they're going to want to study more and do better on the exam and spend less time to doing something like developing the talent or creativity they were born with. And as a result, eventually their creativity and talent will just get pushed to the side, and the student will only care about doing well on the exam and studying and grades and numbers. And as a result, they could have done so much more, yet they're reduced to an exam or a number. Like, trust me guys, so many talented individuals there. I feel like if they were placed in a better environment, or if the system was just better overall and it actually cultivated this talent and creativity, then India would probably be a first world country. Now again guys, to reiterate, I'm not trying to say that one education system is better than the other. In fact, I think Sweden has the best educational system. So America and India both lost. But all I'm saying is that change needs to occur. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube that have talked about the Indian education system just failing to prepare its students. Now I feel like as an American Indian with a small platform, but platform nonetheless, and with the voice that's been given, like I said, maybe not to a lot of people, but to at least some people who do listen to me, I feel like I needed to create this video and share it with you guys because the education system of India is affecting 1.2 billion people on a daily basis and all the future generations to come. The system needs to be changed, and that too fast. In fact, there's a reason a lot of accomplished Indians come to America to live versus staying in India and helping develop India. Because these people have gone through the struggle. They've gone through the JEE and all these super hard exams, and they probably don't want their kids to go through the same struggle. They'd rather have their kids in a system that's more tailored for inspiring creativity and happiness and talent versus subjecting them to mental stress and just numbers and exams. I honestly believe that India can become one of the most modern first world countries, but it starts with the educational system. So if you're watching this, regardless of your race or ethnicity, try to share this video with your friends or your family, or maybe your teachers, and hopefully one day this video will get big enough and a powerful position person in India may see this and be like, maybe this guy has a point. Change needs to occur, and I'll create that change. So thank you all for watching. Make this video go viral. Peace.